first I had a family, but when I was 4 years old my parents left and I ended up in an orphanage. I only lived there for 6 months, and then I was adopted. I don't remember my life in the orphanage at all, and I am very happy about it. My new parents were very nice, but they were very busy. Dad worked as a teacher at the university, Mom worked as a chief accountant at the largest factory in our city. They loved me very much, they bought me everything, except that they had absolutely no time to deal with me and my upbringing. So this important and responsible job was entrusted to my grandmother, my mother's mother. My grandmother, Varvara Petrovna, was a wonderful and very wise woman. We had a very peculiar relationship. She was not my grandmother, but rather my best friend. She knew all my secrets and mysteries. We never quarreled with her at all. Grandma often told me stories from her life or the lives of her girlfriends. They were all cautionary tales, and I learned a lot from them. That's how my grandmother raised me and taught me about life. Then I grew up, graduated from high school and went to study in another city. I came home very rarely. It made me and my parents very sad. But most of all I miss my beloved grandmother. When I came home, it was an event. My grandmother would prepare a whole mountain of food for my arrival. She thought I was very thin. So she feeds me a lot and buys me clothes. So I don't go around in jeans with holes in them. And I try to introduce my grandmother to everything new that comes along. She is very surprised by the possibility of video communication and the possibilities of the internet. Recently I came to visit, and I decided to treat my grandmother to something new and unusual. I thought about it for a while and ordered sushi. I ordered 2 sets of sushi, wasabi and ginger. I decided that this was enough for the first time. My grandmother immediately asked me how to cook it, boil it or fry it. She did not want to believe that the dish was ready and could be eaten. I had a long time to convince her that this was normal food and that we would not get sick. Then I had to explain to her for a long time what this pink and green stuff was. That's what Grandma called the ginger and wasabi. I left the kitchen for a minute, and when I came back, I just froze on the threshold. Grandma had decided to cut some bread to go with the sushi. How can you eat this without bread? We'll stay hungry. I laughed, but decided not to argue. I said, you want to eat them with bread, eat them in good health. I did not even begin to offer grandmother to use the sticks. I decided that we'd better use our regular forks. I decided this way to save my nerves. So we started eating. After a few minutes, my grandmother jumped up and rushed to the fridge. And they call this a bitter condiment. This is nonsense, and not a bitter seasoning. This is real seasoning, Grandma said, and handed me the mustard that she made herself. We tried sushi with Grandma's mustard. And I have to tell you, it was very tasty and unusual. This is how we have a great time with my grandmother. I introduce her to different cuisines, and she introduces some new flavor combinations to all of them. It always comes out so delicious and special. How I love my grandmother. I just adore her. I love my parents too, but they are always very busy, just like before. But my grandmother is my most native person on this earth. She is my light in the window and my best friend and advisor. Long life and good health to my grandmother. How lucky I am to have such a person in my life.